So what are lessons learned? How do you use them? How do you why they are there at all?
So lessons learned are a useful tool that, but there are again certain pitfalls that that everybody should be mindful of. So lessons learned are something that you sit down with the team and you talk about what has been done well or not so well after you finished either a certain important part of the work, or after at the end of the project as part of the project closure. Now, you usually have a couple of sections there. There are, of course, a number of templates to use, but what it boils down to is what went well. So what do you think was good? And what do we think should have been improved? And naturally, what people tend to focus on is what was done well. Because what people will think is that there might be finger pointing.
Exactly.
It's just a natural reaction to something being bad. Everybody wants to be effective. Everybody wants to do good work. So it is important to position that initially in the meeting, that the purpose of that meeting is not finger pointing, and that team as a whole takes responsibility for everything that went well and that didn't went so well. Of course, the major part of learning comes from things that didn't go so well.
Absolutely.
There is a common problem, I would say, with lessons learned, because once you create that file, you upload it to a folder and everybody forgets
It's
about it.
there. Exactly.
Yeah, completely.
Exactly.
So and it's, I would say, not 100% realistic to ask people, after a month or 3 months, to ask them, do you remember what we discussed, what's in that file? What matters probably most is in the next meeting, in the next similar situation, is to not repeat the mistake and refer back to that lessons learned. Because as you may know, as soon as you finish the other project, even if not before, you and your resources will get new task, another project. People will be busy. People will be thinking about something else. I need to finish up this first thing so I can focus on the other thing. So sometimes it's not easy to get people focused on that.
That's so true. And for me, the main question is how we make sure when lessons learned are generated to incorporate these conclusions into future project plans, into future templates, checklists, and so that we immediately improve on our system. Because if we leave these lessons learned to be somewhere on a shared drive, it's just buried knowledge.
What I like to do basically is create a common repository that goes broader than your specific project. It goes up to the level of the team of project managers that you might belong to. So that common folder would contain all the lessons learned. So what I like to do in my team is create a knowledge sharing session out
Yes.
of all those lessons learned. So what you would get is you would get an opportunity to talk to the likes of you, so project managers, who would be able to tell you, you tell them this went well, the schedule was not right, it got delayed, and they would give you their professional opinions on how that could have been prevented, solved in a different situation, and so on. And I think that is an important platform for everybody to be able to openly discuss about problems they had in the project, where they don't have their management, they don't have their SMEs, but they have people who are facing the same challenges as they do. Basically the team itself grows through that knowledge sharing.